Hey guys, I'm going to talk about an issue that I don't normally hear people talk about, and this is on my channel. I like to address because I'll just be real. Like, I'm no quote expert, but I do know enough about the subject when it comes to steroids to at least talk about it, and I have experience about it. And one of the things that nobody talks about is how to talk to people who are close to you, such as family members, such as your significant other, how to address it to them, the fact that you're taking steroids. Nobody talks about this because it's a bit of I believe because it's a bit of a uncomfortable topic to talk about, correct? And it's something that is very personal, and a lot of people don't address that. Or like, I don't think I've ever heard really anybody address how to talk about it, just the fact that they did at some point in time. Okay? And the reason for this is because it is something that elicits, I believe, a lot of emotions, especially when you're dealing with somebody like your mother, who is first finding out that you are taking not just testosterone, which I believe is the good introduction to it, introduce them at some point in time, because it's going to be painfully obvious at some point in time. Let's just be honest, that you're taking some exogenous form of hormones, and eventually they're going to know one way or another. So I'll get right to it. I'll talk about how my family first found out, okay? Is because I had a bit of a medical emergency at one point in time, which I won't get into, is unrelated to doing steroids. But the people, the doctors, paramedics, wanted to know if I was on any medication. So I had to say, yeah, I'm on testosterone, I'm doing steroids and things, right in front of my family. So obviously I knew at the time that was going to backfire. There's going to be some blowback at some point in time, but it was necessary. It wasn't a life or death moment, but it was like something where it was like, okay, I had to disclose it if I'm on medications, because it could have influenced, the outcome of that emergency. So that's and as a result of that, not right away, but eventually, I started getting emails about the dangers of steroids from my mother. Started getting, you really shouldn't be doing it. You should be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. So I've had to have some, conversations with them, uncomfortable at times, but to disclose exactly what I've done, what I am doing. And I didn't tell them everything, like all of the compounds I'm doing, but I did tell them essentially testosterone and other compounds that help mitigate the side effects of testosterone. So that's one of my recommendations when you are doing it. And it's true. It's not like you're lying to them. Is that you say you're doing testosterone, but you're also doing another compound to help mitigate the side effects, which is totally honest. So, but there's always going to be the mother's worry, right? Maybe you're not close to your mother or your family. My sister was the same way. She addressed her concern for it, which is great. Like, they did it appropriately. I'm not here to judge them for doing so. Because to be honest, it's out of there's a legit concern, because there is a legit danger in doing it, but also they don't know, they don't understand it. They're like, why don't you just go off it? I'm like, it's easier said than done, because I've got something where, like, my testicles aren't producing male androgens properly, right? Therefore, I'm not able to, if I was to go off it, I'm not able to have testosterone, and testosterone is a necessary thing. Do you know what testosterone is responsible for to be healthy? They didn't know that, right? Obviously, they just have the mind connection that it's something that men just have, and it leads to aggression and things, right? It's a very basic understanding. So, part of the solution to this is you got to be informative and reassuring in some ways. There's always going to be legit concern there. Now, so that's with, like, my family that I've had to deal with, and I had to deal with that recently because I told them that I'm going on this legit source or whatever. Like, well, why don't you go to a doctor who can explain that you don't need to do it anymore, essentially. Well, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm on it for good. So, but I'm going to talk about now with my significant other, my wife. Now, I did this very early on in our relationship. I disclosed it to her. To be honest, we had a few drinks, so I was a bit more loose and a bit more, when you have a few drinks, you're a bit more open, etc. But when I shared to her the fact that I'm on testosterone, I did it early on in the relationship, within 2 months of being on with her, which I think is a good time to disclose. Obviously, you're not going to do it right away. It's not going to be on the first date where you're getting to know each other and, oh, by the way, I inject Nandrolone or some shit. No, obviously not. But it's like, you got to give it some time, where you actually have become a legit couple. Don't preemptively say it before that you're that you're actually, a couple, like actually boyfriend, girlfriend. So once you're boyfriend and girlfriend, there's going to be a time period of about a month or so where this is going to be, I believe, the sweet spot in which you disclose. Because if you wait too long, then that's going to signify dishonesty, and eventually she's going to know anyway if you're kind of jacked anyway, and see pimples and shit on your back or whatever. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't know those signals, but it's like, okay, this guy's might be taking something, but I don't know if he's taking something or not. It's kind of shady, and he's not disclosing to me, because that could cause, if you prolong it too much, it's going to cause some problems. And if you just completely keep it secret for too long, and then she finds out one way or another, even if it is a disclosure, that's going to be highly sus of you, okay? She's not going to trust you. There's going to be a lack of trust involved, okay? So I was just letting this guy go because he was telling me, and it's kind of a icy storm, and I didn't want him telling my ass no more. So yeah, that's the key aspect of it, which is with your wife, or like when you become a significant. So don't preemptively tell somebody that you're dating that you're on it per se, because that could weird things out a bit, and it's just disclosing too much. A bit of your personal life. It is a personal thing, right? I don't think you should be too personal too early on. But when you become a significant, when you have a degree of significance in a relationship, then like when it becomes like when you guys are a couple, then you should tell them pretty quickly, within a month or so. That's the sweet spot. Now, there's not many other things I can think about where you have to disclose being on drugs or not, other than maybe your coach. But that's all case dependent, and I don't think I need to lecture you guys on that. But the main thing is with your family, maybe you're going to keep it completely secret from your family, but then you're going to get jacked, and they're going to know anyway. And maybe there's not going to be, like in my case, the medical emergency that's going to force you to disclose to them. So maybe just keeping it from them it's a personal decision. Maybe that's what you want. You want to keep it part of your, private life. That's fine. But maybe it's also a good idea to, because they're going to know anyway when you're fucking jacked anyway, that you're doing it safely, at least, right? That's a reassurance, because when the mom knows that you're doing it, and there's like, she's not addressing it, you're not addressing it with her or whatever, she, in the back of her mind, she doesn't know if you're doing it safely or not. So you got to reassure that it's safely. You're doing testosterone, which is a safe compound, with other compounds that mitigate the negative side effects of the testosterone, and it's based on, goal-oriented that you're doing, and you realize that there's risks involved, but you're mitigating the risks. And you can even say that you've got professional oversight advisory over doing so, like a coach to do so, in medical you're getting blood tests done, make sure your organs are fine or whatever, and then you can tell her, because you realize there's ways that it can be done negatively. It can be done where there are lots of side effects. A lot of people do run into side effects, but now that we're in a point in time where we know a lot about it, we know about the science about it, we can mitigate those side effects. So there can be reassurance. It's never going to be perfect, especially with mothers and things. Some of them are warriors. Some of them are very neurotic, like mine. Like, I have a lot of conversations about this exact topic with her where she's worried about it, and that's understood. You show empathy and respect that. Thank you for your concern about it, right? But this is what I'm doing it safely. And you don't have to disclose every aspect about it. You don't have to disclose you're doing things like Anavar. You don't have to disclose the human growth hormone aspect of it, per se. Just disclose that you're doing testosterone and something else that helps mitigate the side effects of the testosterone. I think that's all they really need to know. Because otherwise you're going to disclose too much information for their brain to even handle. Some people anyway. Maybe your mom's a scientist, doctor, she can understand it, but a lot of them aren't, so it'll be way over their head. So just disclose those two facts and you should be good. Thanks for watching, guys. What are your thoughts about this? Leave in the comments section below. I know there's a lot of you guys who have done steroids for a long time, have run into this exact same issue. You have probably had multiple girlfriends. Your family has probably asked some questions. So leave your advice in the comments, because this is a good one where your advice might actually help somebody else. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.